live, but also building communities. So please stay tuned. We will be right back. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today, we are talking about apps and how to support local businesses during the coronavirus. And I'm so happy that you could join us today, Cyrielle.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
So, are you in Fukuoka right now?
Yes, in Fukuoka.
And
Waiting for the typhoon tomorrow.
Oh no, I hope it's not too bad. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we start?
Yes, of course. In fact, I'm from France, but I grew up in Africa for 17 years, the first 17 years of my life. And then I came back to France for studies and my first jobs before landing to an entrepreneurial journey in Japan. It started last year and it continued in Fukuoka this year.
Yeah, you actually have such an interesting background. Can we talk about your background a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
So you were working with Yelp. Can you tell us a little bit about your work with Yelp?
Yeah, of course. It was actually my first job when I finished my master degree in Bordeaux City in France. I used to be a scout when Yelp was just launching their market, in Bordeaux. And at some point, I was recruited to be a city manager, meaning that I have to build the brand and the community from scratch for Yelp. So for those who don't know Yelp, because it's not that famous outside America, Canada, it's an app and a website where you can find all local addresses and you can join a community of active persons who like to let some reviews and share the good, positive things about local businesses.
Yeah, it was kind of before Google Map reviews. I think a lot of people were using Yelp a lot, kind of before people were using Google as a resource for reviews, right?
Yeah. At the same time of TripAdvisor, but it was a huge competitor, Yelp, to TripAdvisor in the US. And in France and Europe, TripAdvisor was more something for tourists wishing to find places, when they travel. But Yelp was more like being a local inhabitant, wanting to, find places around the house, around the work, where to go for shopping, where to go, even for doctor or anything, you can find it on Yelp. So it was more for local businesses in your city or in your region.
Right. And it looks like you were a model. There's a beautiful picture of you in a magazine.
It was okay. I see what you mean. It was not for model work or anything. It was an interview for Yes when I started as a city manager. So it was one of my first media press, and it was quite interesting and exciting
Yeah.
also to wear some designer clothes and to answer some questions, but always asking questions for what is the best place to go in Bordeaux and what do you want to recommend. So I always
Wow.
appreciate this kind of direction
Wonderful.
for press.
And of course, are you from Bordeaux? Is that your
I'm not
hometown?
No, I'm not from Bordeaux. Actually, as I grew up in Africa, I used to go to holidays with my family, and we really love. It's in France. It's Le Bassin d'Arcachon. It's a seaside of Bordeaux City, 45 minutes by car, and it was during summer, and I got my best memories there. So when I started to live in France for my study, I started in Paris. Didn't like it. Sorry if there's Parisian on the on the call. So then I went south and south and south, and I finished in Bordeaux, and I lived there for 10 years, and I discovered a dynamic city, really human-sized city, and I also love the people and the businesses and the job that I did there. So Yelp also helped me to love more my city by doing this job.
Wonderful. And then you were also working for Ubereats. Is that right?
Yeah, I was working for them as a contractor because in 2016, Yelp closes its international market. But I was quickly contacted by not Airbnb, it was later, but by Uber because they wanted to launch Ubereats. This was the service everyone knows now, but it was launching in France and Paris as a test market, and they wanted to expand in Bordeaux. So they asked me to help them with the marketing strategy, business development, and involving my network in their success in Bordeaux. So it was more like a contractor, but yes, I work for them.
Oh, wonderful. And you also worked with Airbnb, is that right?
Yes, I work for Airbnb quick after Uber as well as a contractor. And it was the main services they wanted to launch were Airbnb experience. So it really talked to me because I'm someone into local experiences, local discoveries. So it was really great to speak to people, always people knowing what can you bring in the scene and what can you, in terms of experience. It could be going to vineyard in a chateau with a very expert, wine expert, or someone like cooking bread, because all that kind of traditional stuff in France, you will be able to do it in Airbnb. So that was my mission, to find hosts to host experiences and to build a soul community of hosts.
Wonderful. And then let's talk about how or why you came to Japan. So, did you apply through Fukuoka Startup? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. In fact, I didn't know till last year that I will come to Japan because I wanted first to build my company in France. In 2017, I traveled to Japan for the first time, and I tried Japanese tea for the first time. It was in Hakone, the mountain of Kawakidani, near in the onsen ryokan, and there were some like millésime of sencha in the table. So it was the first time I tried it, and I felt like a different taste from all the teas I used to drink before. And I really compare it to wine. I'm from Bordeaux. I lived there for 10 years, and we are really like a wealth of terroir producers with a lot of stories, very qualitative products. And I was like, wait, it's like Japanese tea, in fact. So because in Japan, you can experiment different kind of Japanese tea. You have sencha, gyokuro, hojicha. You have different tea producing regions. So there are so many things to discover. And when I started to search, I was like, wow, I want to find the best places to try Japanese tea. And it was so hard to find because I didn't speak Japanese. So not very easy to find that kind of really local and authentic experience. And I say, okay, so for now you're working for Uber, you're in a comfortable salary life, so maybe not the time to be an entrepreneur. I was not ready. But it was on my mind. So I came back the year after, so 2018, and I decided to stay 3 weeks in Japan and to speak to as many tea producers and tea business owners as possible. I did that. I was connected also with it was amazing. It was in the near Fujisan, Mount Fuji. So I went there to discuss with the fifth generation of the tea producers, Honda-san, and I learned how to do tea picking for the first time. And I really discovered the product, and I really also discovered needs from Japanese tea producers and business owners to be known by international people, to be more accessible. And then it's when I started to say, okay, let's go, let's do something. And from that point, I started to build a prototype and to find a name, to build a brand. And I also built a business plan and everything to show to the bank, to the startup committee in France. I was really like motivated like never. And everyone say no, like we don't believe in you, you're not credible, and I like we won't invest in you. So it was for 6 months, I think, in France. And I was like, but I truly believe that there's a market, we have to do it. And I got my last no by a French startup committee. It was in March last year. And they told me that there's no chance that I can succeed with Japanese tea, and that also being a woman in the marketing field is not that credible. So I should take a main tech person to be a co-founder to be able to do my business. And I would say, what? So I stopped, I cried, I say, okay, I will go back to salary life. And then I let the night come. And the day after, I say, okay, if France doesn't want me, maybe Japan. So I started to do my research. I started to see that there's a startup ecosystem there, that there's maybe a chance. So I was connected to many.
Uh-oh. You're frozen a little bit. Oh, dear. Hello? Oh, we lost her. Okay, we'll try to get Cyrielle back. She's talking about how she came to Japan and launched her startup, Dokocha. So let's see if we can get her back on the line. She was saying,
Yes.
oh, hello. Are you there? Okay, we'll try to connect back. So it was really interesting to hear her say that she actually had a lot of discrimination, that you can't do it as a woman, you don't know enough. And then she came to Japan. There she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We lost you.
Great.
We lost you for a minute, but you're back.
Because, yeah, sorry for that. But the Wi-Fi here is quite
Okay.
difficult.
Okay. Well, let's hope we don't lose you again. So you were talking about you found out about the startup system in Fukuoka.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I found out about this startup system, and first it was not in Fukuoka, it was in Tokyo, because
Okay.
I was connected to many persons, and one of them was which is the president of Brigasi in Tokyo. And I remember this talk, and I presented him Dokocha. And he said, okay, one question. Why are you still in France? So the same night, I booked my flight to Tokyo, and I come 2 months after in June to crash test Dokocha directly on the field. And I started to do my business development there, and we got our first tea partners, and they're among the most famous tea brands in Tokyo. So it was really good to have this kind of experiences, meeting people, speaking really about the business. And at some point, I was there as a tourist, so I needed to find a solution to develop it really officially in Japan. So I started to look out for what type of visa can I get to continue my activity. So I found out about startup visa. And at some point, an entrepreneur from Fukuoka, a French entrepreneur from Fukuoka, contacted me and say, hey, you know that Fukuoka is doing really great with startups and with everything with startups related activity. So I started to do my research, and I say, okay, let's go to Fukuoka. So I booked my flight again when I was in Tokyo. I went to Fukuoka, and I met the some person of the team of the city government, and I really like the people. I really like the city, and I say, okay. And in addition, Kyushu is very famous as a tea producing region. I love Kyushu tea. So it makes total sense. So I apply, and 6 months after, I got the yes, and I arrived in Fukuoka in March, 2 weeks before the state of emergency.
Oh no. I mean, and then you transition to Digitomenu, which we're going to talk about next. But before we talk about Digitomenu, let's stick with Dokocha a little bit. It's a really interesting idea. So tell us about how does it work? What is Dokocha?
Yeah, Dokocha is really the unique platform where you can find all the Japanese tea addresses and experiences in Japan. So we started in Tokyo, and we launched the first version 1 of the platform in November last year. So you can find some business pages, you can find promotional video on these pages. And we didn't do like something like a map where you can find addresses around you, because part of the travel is also to do the extra mile to discover some addresses, not being lazy, sometimes with all the technology, high speed, hyper growth, we are being so lazy that we are just checking around us where we want to eat today, or where we want to shop today. So I really wanted to do something more like a five senses experiences. So not checking on the map if you can find an address in Tokyo, but more going on the main page, which is Dokocha TV. So it's more like a Netflix of tea traveling. So you can just check the animated pictures and see if it's appealing to you. So you click and you discover a business, you discover a story about people, business owners. And then if you like it, you are ready to do the extra mile. You say, hey, I like this address. Where is it? So you're ready to take the train from Shinjuku, 15 minutes east, and to go to Nishi-Ogikubo and to discover, for example, certain Japanese tea, which you will never know about if you just stay, in the golden route, the one with all the touristic guides and everything. So this is part also of the work of Dokocha is to highlight all these addresses. But not only, because another problematic when you are a tourist or international people in Japan, it's the language. In my case, I don't speak a fluent Japanese. I start to understand. But when you find this address, when you go there, sometimes it's also difficult to find an address if you don't have a map, because it's not written the same way as in Western countries. And when you are at the address, you don't understand the menu, because it's all in Japanese, and it prevents you from understanding, then ordering. So I wanted to do a work on that to be more accessible, and the answer to that was to develop digital menu. So I wanted to do that since day one of Dokocha, and I started to implement this digital menu to offer tea partners when all that coronavirus crisis came up. So
yeah,
this was part of our work at some point
wonderful.
also.
So you're taking the existing Japanese menu and offering
Yes.
them English version and English, not only in translation, but you're offering them the kind of menu that the international customer wants, right?
Yes, because you can see pictures, you can see the name in Romaji. So if you want, you can say it. You just don't have to, show the pictures. So you can try and have fun trying to say, the Romaji. I know we all like that, like trying to express some Japanese word, and we are so proud of that. So I try to keep that fun part, and also having a short description to understand what we'll order in terms of product, prices, and also work on allergens, because I am myself allergic to seafood and to fish. And one of my first sentences when I came to Japan, because I was so scared to have some fish in my food, was that I was allergic to seafood and fish, actually. So more like watashi wa sakana to seafood o allergic desu. So I was so proud to be able to say that, but I quickly realized that I didn't understand the answer. So I didn't yet know if it was okay or not.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do a work on all the allergens. So on Dokocha right now, you can find more than 33 allergens that we have listed. And we ask all of tea partners to provide an allergens list for each product, so you know in advance if it will be a problem for you. So for now, it's in English. You can also find it in French, but the main goal is to be available in all languages.
Wow, that's wonderful. So on the screen right now, I'm showing a screenshot from your website, dokocha.com. So it says premium bamboo charcoal roll cake,
Yeah.
matcha cream, chopped chestnuts, or hojicha cream with hazelnuts coated in caramel. The price, 440 yen, and then the allergens, milk, nuts, and egg. So this helps not only people with allergies, but of course, a vegan or plant-based or vegetarian traveler, or someone who, of course, with allergies like nuts or gluten-free. This helps so many travelers, especially international travelers or international residents in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. It's fantastic. So tell me about your business concept. Like how does it work for you as a business? How do you get the money, and how does it work for the business to give you the information? Introduce a little bit about the business side.
Yeah, Dokocha is working on a SaaS model, like it's a subscription yearly to be on the website and to be showcased only on the business side. So it's free for other tourists and international people who want to check the information and the businesses pages. And actually, we say international, but I got more and more demand from Japanese people who want to discover also the Japanese tea word in Japan to know more. So we are thinking of doing it in Japanese as well to answer the demand. And so businesses can choose some different type of pages. They can go on premium, they can go on standard, and there's also a free option because I want everyone to be able to be on Dokocha. But depending, you can have a promotional video, more photo gallery. And in terms of the process, it's a recommended website. So I personally try every addresses to make sure that it's really Japanese tea sourcing and that regions are really, it's a dedicated to a region. So on the business page of Dokocha, for each business and addresses, you can find a list of the Japanese tea regions that you can find at the shop, at the restaurant or the cafe, and you can find the type of Japanese tea you can find there. So basically, I visit, I try, and I also meet people. So I really want them to share the story with me because on each page you can find photos of the staff. So it can create a kind of proximity. You go there and you can recognize at some point the person you saw in photos. So it's something more, friendly that I want to create. So I went there. We have a cameraman in the staff, so he's doing all the job to highlight the business is the best way we can and to showcase the really particular product or item that represent the person.
Now you have Dokocha TV and Dokocha app. Can you tell us
Dokocha.
about the
Sorry,
app?
I guess you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, it's only on the website,
Okay.
and app is part of a future development for Dokocha. But
nice. So the app may be developed in the future, but now it's just on the website. It's a fantastic website. Really beautiful, great videos. Your Dokocha TV, and beautiful photos and great information. And there was a wonderful quote here. Where was that? That this is one of the only Japanese tea dedicated travel sites ever. Is that right? I've never seen this before. So this is a very unique, wonderful idea.
I've never seen before. I was trying to find before creating one because I was a tourist myself and I wanted to find this type of addresses. And we can find some places in general websites, we still have TripAdvisor, we still have Yelp in Japan, we still have other blog or Instagram account, but nothing really dedicated to this. And we are really on a mission to develop tea tourism as well as we can see wine tourism in France. So everyone can experiment and even go to the countryside. Next step for us is to have more people, producers to showcase what they can do in the countryside. And my dream is really to have someone being able to order a Japanese tea, like we can order a wine in a shop, and knowing that, you prefer like a fresh taste or something more florally. So you will go with a Kyushu tea or Shizuoka tea, or you prefer really like matcha, so go with a uji matcha. So really have kind of recommendation like this and being more in the countryside because there are so many beautiful landscapes. You can go there by bicycle and just visit the tea fields. And if one day and buy tea at the farm would be great. And I know that Japanese tea producers, they are starting to do amazing things. They built wooden terrace on Japanese tea fields. You can see the sunset while tasting Japanese tea. So it's really booming. There's something.
That's a wonderful idea. And I can imagine, I haven't been to Bordeaux myself, but I can imagine this is a kind of visiting the French countryside, visiting the winery, having some wine at the winery, looking at the view. So this is kind of a beautiful Japanese version of visiting the tea fields, having some tea. So is that possible? Like I have this beautiful photo of you picking the tea yourself in the traditional tea picking costume, and then visiting the tea fields. It's such a rare and wonderful experience. Is it possible for tourists now to do that?
It's still difficult because tea producers, they don't speak English or any other language. So there is a lot of work to do, but it's not impossible. It will take time, but it's something that I have as a mission because I experimented it because I was introduced to this person. So I was able to do it. I know that Japanese persons can experiment it, but it will be even better if we can open it to international person and even international residents, because for now there are no tourists anymore in Japan, but it doesn't mean that we cannot travel, in our own country or doing some staycation around the house. So
Definitely. And I work with tourist destinations, and tourism. Sustainable tourism has been my focus for a long time. And I recently heard that there are a lot of international residents who are traveling. That some places like onsen hotels are quite busy, So if we have domestic target as the tourist focus now, that seems to be a decent group of people to get to attract
yes,
to your area, and then you can try things. It's a little bit easier than for the inbound market, because people living in Japan, they speak a little bit of Japanese, or
yes,
they're more comfortable driving to a countryside location, right? So there's a
that's true.
lot of benefit to trying to the domestic international resident market. So it's very exciting. I'm very excited about your idea. Uh,
Thank you. Me too.
I love your videos of the tea shops on Dokocha TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have one
Yes.
here. Let me see if I can show it. It didn't play. I couldn't get it to play. But if anybody goes to your website, dokocha.com,
Yes.
they can see Dokocha TV, which is so many of these great videos to look at. Okay, so now let's talk about the Digitomenu a little bit, because you said Digitomenu was actually a side project of Dokocha, but
Yes.
now during the coronavirus, Digitomenu has become more of a main focus, right?
Yes, in fact, I went to Japan with a startup visa to launch Dokocha officially here and to develop it. But I arrived in Fukuoka just 2 weeks before the state of emergency was declared. So at some point, when you are an entrepreneur just starting, you have to always, you're always in a challenge. So you're always changing plans. You know that. You have to be resilient. But with that coronavirus in mind and with the state of emergency, all shops started to close or to work under very short opening hours. And then the frontier were closed. So I was like, okay, so my Dokocha was based on tourist inbound. So what should I do? Where should I pivot? So it's when I started to implement faster the digital menu for my tea partners. And at some point, I was very sad to go back to streets when it was the end of a state of emergency. It was in May, if I remember well. And I saw many businesses struggling during the crisis to get some customers back. And I was like, okay, so I am not developing digital menu for tea businesses, and I would love to do that for every restaurant, cafe, and bar. What should I do? And in 1 week, like I was like in a creative insomnia, and I came up with digital menu and the brand design and the platform. Took us 3 weeks to be developed, and then we launched the website officially in July to be available to everyone. First in Fukuoka, we tried the market here and we got our first restaurant. But the main goal here is to say, hey, let's stop paper and plastic menu first, because it's not that good for the planet, actually, because you print a lot of paper. And then with this coronavirus crisis, it's not that safe. So it's better to scan a QR code and to watch your menu to see your menu online in a smartphone. So we are trying to do that. Yeah, to help all restaurants, cafe and bar to create their digital menu with Digitomenu.
So on your Digitomenu.com, I believe, you talk about the 3 reasons to use Digitomenu. Can you introduce that?
Yes, of course. The 3 reasons to use Digitomenu is first to protect your customers. So now customers can scan a QR code and see safely the menu online. It's also a way to protect the staff because, as we know, most of the staff have to disinfect the plastic menu and everything after each customer. And they can be submitted to contact at risk with the menu. So we can avoid that by using a digital menu. And also it's a way for restaurants or the business, any business with a menu, to stay open during coronavirus crisis under the best conditions and being a safe place for everyone. And also to communicate this way, saying, hey, we are doing everything, because we saw that the Japan government say, you have a checklist to respect, so just washing your hand and wearing a mask. And I'm sure that having a digital menu should be a part of this safety measure to fight the spread of the coronavirus.
Yeah, and then protect your customers, protect your staff, and then reopen under the best conditions after COVID.
Yes.
So
this is the 3 main points.
Yeah, it's a wonderful 3-step plan, which you don't see a lot of businesses doing right now, but everybody should be thinking about, what do we need to do right now, and what do we need to do to secure our business for the future? Like, what's going to happen with our business after Corona? And I think so many businesses now, it's really hard to think about that, because they're just thinking about making enough money right now. And this is so typical of many sustainability ideas or issues, right? Is that most companies or governments or people are just thinking about, what am I going to do right now, right?
Yes.
And then thinking about the long-term future seems too hard, right? It seems too difficult. But something like your idea, it's something that can help you right now, and it helps you in the future, right? So, wonderful idea.
Thank you. And it's true that for now, Digitomenu is only in Japanese, for Japanese menu. But I hope we will have the Olympics next year, so we can translate all the menus. So every restaurant here in Japan could be accessible by everyone, which means that you can increase your revenue by being more accessible. So it's really a long-term vision. And also, you can save money by not printing new menu, new seasonal one, and so goes on. So yeah, it's really like a long-term vision on the digital menu. But I didn't know that when I started. It was really a direct answer of the crisis to help all local businesses, because it's a free initiative. So they can go for free on Digitomenu and access the creation tool for their digital menu. But when I started, I was like, okay, so maybe we can, and we can do that. But in a long vision, it's also great. So it came up. Yeah. That is a long-term solution, actually.
So this is also on an app, or is it only on the website right now?
Right now, it's on a website, and the website is really accessible for the businesses. So it's a platform for them to create a digital menu. And when you are a customer and when you go to a restaurant, you want to check a menu, you see the QR code. So you scan it with a smartphone, and it's totally mobile friendly. So you can check the menu directly on a smartphone on the best format. So it's really version 1.
Yeah.
It was really a quick answer to the crisis.
It's great. QR code generator you have on the website. I'm showing right now. So you have a customizable menu template and a dedicated digital menu URL once they register. It's mobile friendly. Scan this QR code to see a menu sample. Can you explain a little bit about how the process works with a menu template?
With a menu template, when you are a restaurant and you want to create a digital menu, you go on digitomenu.com and you register. So you enter all the information of the business, of the restaurant, cafe, bar, but it could be bakery or any other local businesses who need a digital menu. Then you enter your personal information. It's for us, for the company, so it will not be, display on the digital menu. And you create your login information with your email and password. You connect, register, and you have a direct access to the digital menu creation tool. And when you are there, you can select your menu. We have a selection of 5 colors from now, but we are working on being able to have more customization on version 2. And then you can add categories. So categories, once you add it, categories, it's like, I say categories with a Japanese accent. It's like adding, for example, pasta or pizza. And then under each category, you can add items. And on item, you can add the information like the item title, price, descriptions. And again, we see again the allergens work. So you can select if there are some allergens in your menu. And you have also the possibility to change at any time your menu, to play with the category position, item position. So you can really customize your digital menu anytime. And then you submit the digital menu to us, and we create the URL webpage and the QR code also. And we provide a welcome kit of stickers to be able to launch as soon as possible for the business.
Wow, it's wonderful. Are you doing all of the Japanese, or are you working together with other people who are doing Japanese?
Yes, I'm working. I quickly realized that my Japanese wasn't good enough. It was good for Dokocha because it was meant to be dedicated to international people. But then I came up with Digitomenu, and I started to go to businesses, and I was really motivated. But I was missing words, and I was missing really I was missing the Japanese language. It was not in English or in French, so I was not that comfortable. So a friend came up to help me, Yuri-san. So she's a Japanese woman, and she decided to be volunteer to help me with the restaurant and to write the menu to be sure there's no mistakes. And I have also my boyfriend, Frank, and he's the one who did the video, actually, the professional cameraman and video producer for Dokocha. And he's doing all the photo and video for Digitomenu as well. So we started to build a very team of volunteers. And we are, how can I say, we are still looking for volunteers to help us because it's a huge work, And in Japan, most of the restaurants, they are not that friendly with digital. So sometimes it's very hard to make them understand the advantages of having a digital menu and going digital. So in time of crisis like the one we are facing for so many times now, I think it's everybody's responsibility to see if we can help in any ways. So it's true that Digitomenu was my way to help during that time, and also to thank the country that welcomed me, because I am a foreigner in Japan, but I wanted to help. And it's true that Yuri-san came to help also as a volunteer because she wanted to help her favorite local businesses. So each time we went to a restaurant with a digital menu, and with Digitomenu, we took we took a photo because we wanted to make that really, to spread the word about it. Like, this restaurant has now a digital menu, so it's safe for everyone to go there. So it's true that if we can see that in every part of Japan, seeing people going to their favorite restaurants, and say, oh, today if you want, I can help you to do a digital menu, it could help, would be amazing. Yeah. That kind of positive, community, positive movement. And
yeah, it's wonderful. I'm showing the pictures right now that you sent me from the Kawaya,
Kawaya.
yeah,
Yes.
that they have joined the Digitomenu and stay safe together. And you guys are wearing your masks and showing the
Yes.
poster. So I think I talked to another person, Kevin Meyerson, in Karuizawa, and he was talking about finding a way to support the local restaurant or support the local bars. I think during coronavirus, of course, this is a very big problem. And a lot of small businesses, especially small bars and restaurants, are really struggling. So there is some ideas like you can buy a coupon for future use, you can order takeout. But I think now, like your idea too, what is after coronavirus or what is our new reality? How can we use the business, but how can we stay safe and keep the staff safe? So
Yes.
that's kind of the reason for Digitomenu, right?
Yes. That's the main reason to help them, because it's true that we change because of the new normal. We all change the way we go out, or we choose restaurant, or I don't know for you, but I know that I always check if there are not too many people in the mall, or if the restaurant is not too crowded. And it's true that I also started with that digital menu when I go to restaurant and I see that plastic menu now. I'm like, okay, I should, because it's not only a work for business to say I want a digital menu. It's also a work and a mindset to have as a customer, that you can ask for a digital menu even if the restaurant doesn't have one yet. So if people started to say, hey, we can be safe with that solution, so you can ask, more businesses, more restaurants will be aware that the solution they can find to reopen under the best condition. It's a matter of everyone. It's a responsibility of everyone, and that's why the campaign of Digital Menu is a safer together Japan, because it's a work of together to be safe again.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great idea. I hope it really takes off. And it's wonderful to hear that you have good support for Japanese and good people collaborating with you. And that's so important as you're trying to do a startup. Your
Yes.
designer or illustrator is so cute as well with the ramen bowl, and all of your images are so cute. Is that you or is that somebody else?
No, I have a freelance working for me when I need some designs, and it's a woman actually, and she's really talented, and she did the mascot for Dokocha, but it's not yet revealed. It will be in exclusivity for a few weeks, and she did it again for Digital Menu, and she's very, very talented.
Yeah, wonderful. I love it. Let's talk a little bit about your life in Fukuoka. You sent me some pictures of riding a bicycle and everything. Tell me about life in Fukuoka for you.
It's very a new life, because I used to, live in France in Bordeaux, and I used to be a car person. So I used to have my car, doing everything by car, even short distance. And since I arrived in Fukuoka 6 months ago, no car, only bicycles. So I was so proud when I bought my first bicycle here. And when I told my friend and my parents about it, they said, "No way you're on a bicycle in the city." So I say yes. Actually, it's me, and I enjoy it. I'm doing everything with my chari.
Chari. Yes, your mama chari. You have a basket on the front, I see. So you can carry
Yeah.
your things, typical Japanese bicycle. But
Yes.
is your area where you live or work, is it nice for cycling?
No, it was actually at a place I discovered that day when I sent you the photo. It's near Marinoa City. It's a place, it was, I think, 8 kilometers from the place I live. I'm around Akasaka in Fukuoka, so I really live in the city center, not far from Oorikoen, if you know the area. And what I like about Fukuoka really is that I discover a human-sized city, and people are really nice, and it's a really dynamic city. also thanks to the mayor who is really providing support to startups. And also people from the city government are really nice and trying everything to help you. So we also met many nice people. So it created like really a good environment, even during this crisis, because it could have been very difficult when you're a foreigner, just arriving in a new city, in a new country, during this kind of craziness. And in fact, I was really happy to feel almost like home in this city, in this new city. Fukuoka has this power, and this place was really nice. They have near Marinoa city, so it took maybe 30 minutes at my rhythm with my bicycle to go there. And you can have a park, you can have temple, you can have the sea also, which is really nice because Fukuoka is really also a seaside city. So in 20 minutes, you can be also at Mitoma Beach with a crystal clear sea and gold sand. So yeah, Fukuoka is really, really nice. And I have the tea field 45 minutes from the home. So this is where I went at Yame tea field. So really fell in love with the city.
So that was the Yame tea field was in Fukuoka, was it?
Yes, it's in Fukuoka Prefecture. It was maybe the only time I took a car because it was too far by bicycle. So we rent a car that day. It was at the end of the announcement of the state of emergency in May, and we so needed to go out the apartment because we try to respect as much as we can all the advices to this stay home advice. And then when it was the end of state of emergency, we didn't want to go in other prefectures. We wanted to protect everyone, and we wanted also to respect what government was saying, to be careful because it's still here and it will stay, I think, longer. So we all have, again, to take responsibility and being as much respectful as we can. But we decided to rent a car and to go to the field, to the tea field, and to see some nature. I also wanted, part of my Dokocha business was to discover Japanese tea potential around Kyushu. So it was really nice that day when we did that. So
Yeah.
45 minutes and you are in the middle of a tea field nature with a beautiful landscape. So very nice.
That's gorgeous. Wonderful. And you also talked a little bit about your quotes, your mottos for being an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, actually, if I remember well, there's two important quotes for me I found out on the internet because it really resonates with my own entrepreneurial journey. The first one, I don't have it. Maybe you have it in front of you. You will show it.
She's gonna make it after all.
The first one, okay. It's because in France was all the no I received in France. At some point, I thought that it won't be possible, but I'm gonna make it after all. So the learning here is that even if a door closed, it doesn't mean, even if your own country is not ready for your business, it doesn't mean that you cannot dare to go elsewhere. You don't have to be afraid. And which goes with the second quote, it's about having trust in your feeling, trust in your gut. So if at some point you really feel that you have to do it, there's something to do about it. Just do it. Take risks. It's so good to take the risk. It's not easy every day. It's a roller coaster of emotion to be an entrepreneur, but I will never regret to be here in Japan, despite the coronavirus crisis. And I really feel that I make the right decision and I am here on the right timing doing what I should do.
That's awesome. Wonderful. The next one, never apologize for trusting your intuition. Your brain can play tricks. Your heart can be blind, but your gut is always right.
Yeah, trust your feeling again. I really like this one. And sometimes when I'm at a low moment and I say, what am I doing right now? Why? And then I used to read again this quote and say, yeah, it's part of my feeling. I'm doing something that I trust and other people trust also. So it's very powerful as a feeling. So trust your feeling anytime.
Yeah, wonderful. The last one, you talked a little bit about sustainability and success.
Yes, it's true because as a startup, there's kind of an education of young entrepreneur, and it's more like a hyper growth, like always seeking for the next million. How can you do million in 2 months? How can you do 3 millions in 4 months? And when I was in this system, because I used also to be to do consulting for young startups, early stage startup in France, at the same time of Uber and Airbnb, and I was very shocked, really shocked to see some startups with who raise millions and not counting. And I was like, but you should count this, you should count that. And I heard about what is the exact name of it. It's a cash burn, and it's pretty famous among the startups. And at some point, I went to a workshop with an investor, very famous in Japan, in Tokyo. And everyone was like, hypergrowth, pre-seed, seed A, B, C. And I was like, okay, wait, I have a question. Is it possible to do it the sustainable way, like being a sustainable startup, doing growth, it's okay, but meeting the needs at a more slow rhythm, but staying in the landscape, because I don't want to sell my company in 3 years with an exit plan and everything. I want to build a company that answers needs of people here and international ones, and I want to stay in the landscape. So I don't want to make millions. I just want to be able to live from my company and to have my first employee. And is it possible to be a sustainable startup right now in the sustainable ecosystem? And this is a question I asked during the mentorship session that I have when I met new investors. And I think it's good to start assuming that you are sustainable. And yeah, you are sustainable, period. and you deserve to have the same support. You deserve to have the same mentor, the same investors, but it's a different format, but it's okay. It doesn't mean that we will fail. It just means that it will take us longer to achieve the million if we are seeking the million. But yeah, I think we can be successful by being sustainable, taking care of the planet, taking care of people, taking care of the business side, taking care of the employee. And it was something really important for me since day one, even in my past career and now in my entrepreneur journey. So yeah, I'm a sustainable startup and I assume it.
That is wonderful. I love it. I told you before we started that today doing research, and today and yesterday doing research on your company, it was so wonderful for me, because sometimes when I do research and I'm like, oh no, there's not too much to talk about. But for you, it was the opposite. It was, I started uncovering more and more about you and what you're doing. And I started getting more and more excited about talking to you. And it's so wonderful to make this connection. So I'm so happy to get your insights on running an entrepreneurship in Japan as a non-Japanese and taking so much risk. And I know it must be so hard, but I appreciate your aim, your mindset of trying to develop something that you want to do for a very long time, and you want to benefit people and planet and make a living, get some profit, right? Very important, very important. Is there any business or is there any entrepreneur that kind of gives you inspiration for the way you want to be as a business owner or entrepreneur?
I have to say that one of my main inspirations started with my first manager at Yelp, Ziva Bilal. She succeeded to build a team of women, which is not easy to gather women in the same team. And we are now all very good friends. And I used to be a French-minded when I started working. It's like not being okay with a mistake, like I'm doing mistake. Oh no, it's so bad, and not taking risks. So she was the one who take the time to learn, to make me learn how to take risk, how to be an entrepreneur inside the company. And she told me, I need you to be transparent. I need you to make mistakes to be able to learn, and it's okay. So it's kind of an American way of doing, not being afraid of your mistake. It's okay to fail, you will fail all the time, but the most important is to take learnings from that and to get up and to continue. So she was one of the main inspirations for me to do what I am doing, and always in the support. So if it happened that she can see that podcast with you, so I would like to say thank you to her, and thank you also to my team member, because since day one with this entrepreneurial journey, these women were so inspirational with their own path and with mine, always supportive. And I have a lot of inspiration from the people I used to meet. I'm really happy that since day one in Japan, I met many inspirational people in Buegasia, people who are taking the time to brainstorm with me, to answer, to be kind, because we often forget that we don't have to be rude in business. It doesn't have to be a challenge or a competition. And we got more things from kindness, helping each other, and trying the best way to build something together. It's not a competition. It's building something together to be okay, to do something right. It's more that way of inspiration that I got from people around me, and yes, and if you want another inspiration for sustainability, but I never have the chance to meet them, it's people from my Mizu team. So I don't know if you had them, but you certainly heard about them. So
Yes,
they are on.
they've been on. Yeah, Robin Lewis has been on
Yes,
the
Robin.
series. Yeah, I interviewed him
Yeah.
last year and then again this year, and yeah, such an inspiration. So much positive energy.
Yes, so it was also an inspiration to see someone with a free product doing something great and having a community of business owners, registration, but also a community of positive people who are there also to register business, saying, hey, there's a water refill here. Hey, so it's really that kind of positive community, positive mindset that inspire me the most. So, and I am lucky enough to have some of them in my close friendship, and so yeah, very grateful for that.
That's wonderful. Well, we have just a few more moments, 3 more minutes. Is there anything you'd like to talk about that we haven't talked about yet?
I
Or
think I think we spoke about everything, and I really wanted to say thank you to you too, because it was my first podcast. I told you that
yeah.
before,
Well,
so great exercise.
thank you so much
And
for joining the live stream, and I hope the storm in Fukuoka is not too bad. But I want to ask a little bit about how you're doing Digitomenu right now. Like, are you trying to find more restaurant collaborators to join,
yes,
to be examples, and then in the Japanese network, they can ask other restaurant people because everybody is kind of connected, right? So,
yes, we are trying. No, sorry, go ahead. I
no,
cut
no,
you.
go ahead, go ahead.
We are trying different ways to reach out to restaurants. So of course we have our restaurant ambassador, the first one, so they can, if they are happy, they can speak about the digital solution to other restaurants. But we also are looking for customers and Japanese and international inhabitants in Japan being able to speak about us. It will help us a lot to say, hey, can you, even if it's not digital menu, just speaking about digital menu, having a solution, just starting to use this vocabulary as a daily vocabulary will help us a lot. And we will soon start looking for a community of ambassadors in every part of Japan to be able to help the less like, what can I say, less digital friendly persons to and business owners to have this solution in their restaurants. So we are on the business side, business network and customer network. We are working on both and trying to spread the word about digital menu as much as we can.
That's wonderful. Are you kind of putting the Dokocha on hold right now and focusing on digital menu, or are you doing both?
For now, I'm focusing on Digitomenu because it's a direct answer to the crisis right now. But I continue to work on new solutions for Dokocha because we don't know. The main problem is that we don't know when tourists will come back to Japan again. So it's a huge drop down in the metrics for tourism here. But I don't want to forget international people also who are living, in Japan. So it's kind of a work balance that I am trying right now. But digital menu first for now, and Dokocha will come back soon with a new product we are working on to provide tea travel experiences to tourists stuck abroad in their home. So it's a new product we will launch, but it's still first steps. So maybe I will tell more after.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll try to put you in touch with Kevin Meyerson, who is doing something very similar, trying to help local businesses, local restaurants, local bars. And yeah, I wish you luck. I hope everybody watching this have a look at Dokocha's Facebook page and Digitomenu's Facebook page, Dokocha's website, Digitomenu's website. It's very easy to look at because it's so beautiful and you have such beautiful videos and information. So I'm sure, I hope, I pray for you that
Thank you.
that things will start, developing and you will have support from the users as well as support from the business side. So it's a great idea. I support you 100%.
Thank you very much again for the invitation. I'm really glad that we did that together. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your ideas and your information about your business so that we can support you. And thank you, everybody, for watching. There were no comments or questions today, but if you have a comment or question, please make sure you add it below, and we will try to reply to you and respond. Thank you so much, and join us again tomorrow. We have another talk at 9 a.m. tomorrow, Japan time. So everybody take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.